Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tanya, and today I'm going to do a reaction video for you. This reaction is to a channel called Kobi Walker. I have never seen this channel before. It just popped up on my homepage, and I thought it looked interesting to do because the title of it is 5 USA Culture Shocks as an Australian Living in America. And I don't really do a lot of videos like this where maybe an Australian is living in America. A lot of times I'll do like an American's, what it's like for an American living in Australia, or a British person living in Australia, something like that. But I thought this one might be kind of different. I have obviously seen videos like this before, like American reactors will often react to foreigners who are living in the USA and get their sort of pros and cons and what they think of it and stuff. So I thought this would be really neat for me to do. But yeah, I guess we're gonna find out what these 5 culture shocks are. The ones that people list the most often are probably things like sales tax at the store, because even though the price is the price in other places that you go, the price is different in the States because they add the tax when you get to the cash register. You're also paying taxes on those things in the other countries. You just don't know how much taxes you're paying, because it's all looped in with the price. And at least in the States, like, how much you're getting taxed. And it goes by city also. So it's not like there can be just one rule saying, okay, all the stores in all these states are this amount. It varies by place. So that's the reason why it's all done separately. But either way, that's one of the biggest things that people talk about. And also tipping culture. People don't like tipping culture. And tipping culture in the US has gotten completely out of hand. And there are people who are doing like 0 services for you and they still expect a tip. And I don't tip those people. If they're not serving you, you don't need to tip them. So just be wary of that sort of thing. But those are the 2 biggest things that come to my mind. So we're gonna go ahead and see what her list looks like.
As you may know, I recently moved to America from Australia to become a Division 1 athlete in track and field and cross country. And as much as I'm having a great time here, there definitely is some culture shocks. I've been writing them down since I've been here, but I thought we could go through them because some of them are crazy. They would send Australians into a coma. They sent me into a frenzy. If there's any on here that I haven't covered or you want to know about, let me know in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Maybe I can do another video. But without further ado, let's get into it. All right. Everything is...
I'm gonna really quick check. Okay, so this was uploaded 4 months ago, so it's not brand spanking new. Plastic cutlery, bags, and spoons. What?
Plastic. Let me show you. The cutlery, yeah, you would not find that in Australia. Everything is like bamboo, cardboard, plastic straws. They're still a thing here. When you go to the grocery store, you still get plastic bags. There's none of like the paper ones where everything falls out. Aside from the environmental concerns, and I understand like the plastic's not good for the ocean, the turtles, whatever, I much prefer plastic personally. I feel like I'd much rather eat my food with a plastic fork than like a paper one.
I am with her. And that is why probably America has not changed that, because Americans would start a riot. They tried to do the paper straws for a little while and everybody hates them. They just disintegrate in your mouth and they're disgusting. So yes, the straws I use are either a plastic straw or a metal straw. But yeah, we do still do plastic bags at the store. I reuse my plastic bags for everything. If I need to carry something with me somewhere, grab a plastic bag. If I need a garbage bag inside a small trash can, I'll use it for that. I reuse mine for everything. But yeah, plastic. Yeah, I have never ever used or even heard of a paper or bamboo cutlery before. So that's completely new to me. And it doesn't sound like something I would be interested in.
I don't know, it just feels better on the mouth. In Australia, I'm pretty much certain it's illegal to have plastic cutlery or like plastic straws served. But yeah, it's fine here. Next one is the road rules. I just thought every country had strict road rules, but it seems to be it's only really in Australia. There is very minimal red light cameras. There is like no speeding cameras. I never see police out doing like, you know how they do like the speed checks on the side of the road? Never seen that.
I'm not sure what state she lives in, but these types of things are going to vary department to department, cop by cop, city by city. You know, it all just depends. Where I live in Twin Cities. So technically, you know, the one big town I live in is technically 2 cities. But in my part of the city, the cops are very low key. They're very cool. They're very chill. They're way more likely to let you off with a warning. But if you go up to Normal, those cops are assholes, and they will follow your ass until they see you do something wrong. Like it's day and night, those 2 police departments. So it very much depends on what cop you're dealing with.
And people drive on their phones. And I know that happens back home in Australia. Like people are like under the dashboard doing their phone. But people literally just sit at the lights like having a scroll. And that's because there's no cameras at the stoplights. I mean, I don't really have anything against like all the...
There are camera stoplights. There's also speed traps where they'll set up like a thing on the side of the road where it'll show you like how fast you're speeding. So like on this one road that I go down, they have a couple of them set up, and it's 45 miles an hour when you first get on the road, and then the second you cross the stoplight, it goes immediately to 35 miles an hour. And so what they're trying to do is catch those people still going 45 when they get to the 35 part. But I don't think anything ever comes of those things, because in America, you have to be able to argue with the person who caught you speeding, and that's a machine. It's not a person, and you can't argue with them. So usually it doesn't hold up. But yeah, and cops will sit in their own like different hiding places where they catch people speeding. It's definitely a thing here.
Speeding cameras and stuff at home because I think it makes it more safe. But all my American friends were so shocked when I was like, where are the lights? Like, why are there no speeding cameras on these things? They're like, what do you mean? We don't really have those. I'm like, oh, okay. You dead set can't drive a K without seeing a camera in Australia. Oh, this is another thing. Instead of give way, they say yielding. So you know when you like sit at the lights and you like give way to pedestrians or whatever? They yield. They call it yielding. My third one.
It's called yielding here. And I'm sure if somebody were to say give way, we would know what that meant too. But our signs, it's a bright yellow sign, and that's a yield sign. Here, I'll put one up here for you so I can show you. This is a yield sign. So when you see this, that means that if you are the one facing that sign, that means that you need to yield the right of way to somebody else, because it will always be their turn to go unless there's no one else coming, that sort of thing.
I low-key did know, and I feel like it's a common thing when people think of America. Everything's bigger and there's more of everything. But when you go into the supermarket, there is so many options. I cannot even describe it. The cereal aisle, what? Half of it isn't even cereal. There's no way you could be eating that for breakfast. And like Oreos, why do we need 25 different flavors of Oreos? I went in the other day and there was Post Malone.
We don't need different flavors of Oreos. The original flavor is the only one you need.
Flavored Oreos.
Post Malone?
What is Post Malone's flavor?
I think they also have a Selena Gomez one.
Actually, let me find it. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, like describe that to me. There's also lemon Oreos, huh? And this is one that I love, is yogurts. So many flavors of yogurts. I've tried tiramisu, strawberry cheesecake, which actually slaps, banana pudding. Oh, we need that back home. It is low-key though, overwhelming how many options there are. You go in and it's like, whoa, like it's so different. I also forgot how much our brains are programmed to the things.
Well, the thing is, I think that most people, when they're going to the store, they already know ahead of time what they want to buy or they have a list or something, or they have a brand that they prefer over other brands. So for an American who's just doing a typical grocery shopping thing, they know exactly where to go and what they're getting without having to look at all the different options, just because most of us already know which brand, which size, which whatever we want, you know. I think that's probably why it's not so super overwhelming for us, because before we even get there, we already know what we're going there for.
That we're used to. So like, you know, when you go into your local like grocery store, like Coles or Woolies, for me, I know where certain things are in the aisles. I have no idea here. I'm literally walking around like a headless chook. Number 4, sticking on the foodie sort of trend, is obviously there's a lot of fast food in America, but the fast food to small business ratio, so different. Back home, most of the stores, especially like around where I live, were all small businesses. And you know, it's normal to like support local. There's just so many chains here. And I think it is something they struggle with because all the massive chains.
Well, like I said, I don't know what state she is in, but you just have to know where to look for the local places, you know? Like, if you're driving around and all you see is chain after chain after chain, just, you know, go to Google and look up local restaurants near me, and I guarantee you so many will pop up. My town has so many local restaurants, so many, and they are, I would say, probably the most popular and busiest restaurants in my town are the local restaurants. People really only do this fast food like during the workday, and they have like a half an hour for lunch, so they run through a drive-thru real quick and get something to eat and come back to the office or whatever. Or hey, our kid has a soccer game tonight, we'll just on our way get some cheeseburgers and we'll eat there, or something like that. But I don't think that most people are living their day-to-day lives eating fast food all the time. You know, they're either cooking at home or ordering local, or, you know, something like that, in my opinion.
The residents are just used to, so they outcompete the small businesses and then they can't survive. I do want to preface by saying there is still restaurants and cafes that aren't like Dairy Queen or McDonald's, but I've just noticed that there's a lot fewer than there is in Australia. I also think that comes from the culture in Australia. People want to support local. I don't know. All right, my last one is
That's not an Australian thing. I think that sentiment could go for pretty much any country, honestly, but it's very huge in America to shop local. Everybody is always talking about shop local, support local, and that's why we do a lot of like, you know, downtown markets where you can, like a farmer's market, and you can buy all their fresh produce that they just grew themselves, and those sorts of things. So it is a big deal here. Like, at least in my city, it is a very big deal.
Explanatory, but it's still a major culture shock. The tipping. You do not tip in Australia. That's not a normal thing. If you do, it's probably because you like walk past a guy that like plays a guitar and you like chuck them a few coins. I've also kind of really struggled. I never know how much to tip or where to tip. If you go to a store like Nike and they help you and they're really lovely, I feel like I should be tipping them, but everyone's like, no, you don't. The general rule of thumb I've learned is about like 20%, like 15 to 20% at restaurants and cafes. And the way they do it is you order your food and then they come over at the end with a bill. It's got the price and then you write the tip and they take it like off the card. It's just so confusing. I would much rather just pay extra for the food and not have to tip so it doesn't like blow the lines. It's to do kind of with the wages. There's like a lower minimum wage in America than there is in Australia. So to compensate, you like tip. Why don't we just push up the wages? If only.
So if anyone is planning on coming to the US for your first time, let me just tell you this to save you any headache. If you go to a fast food restaurant, no tipping. You do not tip anybody because they're not doing anything for you. If you go to a sit-down restaurant where a waiter comes over and they take your order and they bring your drink and they bring your food, those are the people that you tip. If you go to a bar, maybe throw the bartender a buck, maybe. It's not mandatory, but people do. Yesterday I got my hair cut and I was very pleased with my hairstylist, so I took her $5. Holy cow. So I tipped her $5, which is well over the 20%. But, you know, I was very pleased with my hair. I was very pleased with the company. Speaking to her while I was getting my hair cut, she was very kind. So I tipped her $5. So it's only when you're getting a service, you know, like you would tip, if you order Uber Eats, you're going to tip the driver because they drove it out to you. And I am assuming Uber taxis and regular taxis. I think you tip in those, but I'm not someone who takes Ubers or taxis, so I'm not 100% on that, but I think you do tip them. But everything else, like, don't even worry about it. Only worry about tipping someone who's like waiting on you at a table and they're doing things for you to where you don't have to get up and do anything yourself. Those are the people that you tip. And typically it's 15 to 20%. If you left a little more, a little less, who cares? It doesn't even matter. Or if they're a total asshole to you, like I tell people this all the time. If you go to a restaurant and your waiter is an asshole, don't tip them. They don't deserve it. You know what I mean? They are supposed to be friendly to you and accommodating to you. And if they're an asshole, no tip.
Was that easy for them? I'm sure there's a lot of political side to that. I know I said I was doing 5, but here's a few extra for the funsies. They call a chicken burger a chicken sandwich. It's not a sandwich. It's literally got a bun.
It's not a burger. And I'm going to tell you why it's not a burger. Because in the United States, the only thing that means burger is the beef patty. So someone will say, yeah, I'm making burgers. Do you want a bun or no bun? Because we're making burger patties. That's what they are, burger patties. The bun is not what's called the burger. The bun is not what makes the burger. The bun is just what you put the burger on. This is how it works in America. I know it works different other places, okay? But I'm just saying, in America, I will, if I have chicken on a bun, it is 100% of the time a chicken sandwich. It's just the way it is. Because Americans only call the beef patty part the hamburger. And so that is the very simple explanation as to why we do that. Everything else is a sandwich. It's just the way it is.
It's a burger. You can buy medication at the supermarket or like in the Target. Oh, the Targets are a bloody culture shock. They're awesome. And I wish our Targets in Australia were like how they are here in America. And the last one is coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. However, I can tell a good coffee from a bad one.
Okay, I'm going to rewind to the first thing she said about medication. Yeah, you can get over-the-counter medications at any store you go to. Literally any store. You can go to the gas station up the street and get a little thing of Tylenol if you have a headache. That's not any big deal. But what I think that other people get confused about is the whole pharmacy thing. Where they're like, oh, CVS is a pharmacy, Walgreens is a pharmacy. It's not. It's just a store with a pharmacy in it. So that's the reason why you can do, it's like a little miniature grocery store, because you can get groceries, you can get toys, cards, birthday things, holiday things, candy, diapers. Oh my God, cats. But they also just so happen to have a pharmacy in the back. And the pharmacy drive-through is only if you have a prescription. And that's it. You can't just go through that drive-through for whatever you want. You can only go to that drive-through if you have a prescription that you are picking up at that window. And as far as like advertising medications on commercials, a lot of people, even people who have seen and heard this thing over and over and over again, they still don't grasp it. Yes, they show commercials of different medications, but you can't just go and get those medications just because you saw a commercial for it. You still need a doctor's prescription. You still have to go see a doctor, and you can say, I heard of this new medication. I think maybe it could work for me. I'm not sure. What do you think? And if the doctor says, you know what? I think this medication probably would be a good fit for you. Why don't we try it? It's a way to advocate for yourself, for your own body. You know what I mean? Because we feel like it's very important that you get a say in your own health, you know? If you say, oh, I need this because I saw it on TV, and your doctor doesn't think you need it, he's not going to give it to you. That's not going to happen. You don't just dictate what the doctor does. But you can bring up that, hey, I heard of this medication, and I think maybe this one might work better for me. What do you think? And that's all that is. It's just a commercial for different medications, but you can't go and just buy them. That you have to have a doctor and a prescription. I just wanted to put that out there because I see a lot of reactors get so confused about that. So I hope that kind of clears that up.
A lot of the internationals on our team here say that the coffee beans taste like they're burnt. They also use creamer, which is like a sweet milk. But those are my culture shocks since moving to America from Australia. This is in no way, shape or form slandering America. I love it here. It's awesome. Australia will always be home. I biasly think it's the best country in the world. But I'm so grateful for the opportunity to live here in America, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Let me know if you have any questions or videos that you want to see. Pop it in the comments below. If you could like and subscribe, that'd mean the absolute world. And I will see you in my next one. Bye!
She's cute. She's really young, so I understand that, you know, maybe there's a lot of things that she just doesn't quite understand. I don't know if she said how long she has lived here for. I don't know if I missed that. But yeah, I really like her. She was cute. But yeah, like I said, whenever you're seeing videos like this where someone is explaining differences in their country versus another country or whatever, you always kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, especially if it's someone who's not from the country. So this is how much they know about something, but they're explaining it as if they know the whole thing, but they really don't know this much of it. So that is where I like to come in and try to sort of dispel and explain things a little bit further for anyone who's not quite understanding maybe what somebody means or something. But yeah, those are all pretty much all the same types of things that I always hear people say about living in the U.S. versus living other places. You know, because the U.S., we just do things differently. That's just the way it is. And that is what is normal to me because I, you know, grew up here. So anyway, that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and I'll see you next time. Twisty, say bye-bye.